Peace, family. How are you doing? This is the Pro Black Perspective on KWAZ Radio. And what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss, we're going to have a more in depth look at Chancellor Williams' destruction of black civilization. There was this brother who put out some quotes that he liked regarding the book. And I'm just going to go through these quotes. There's 18 in total. I'm going to go through them and just try to give you a broader view on the whole matter. Before you check this out, though, I want you to look into Bit of Medicine podcast, where they have a book discussion on Chancellor Williams' destruction of black civilization. It's the host Koku and the brother Carl Hezekiah, and they're discussing this book. So I'm gonna have that link in the description below. But after you check that out, come back here and let's just go in depth about these 18 quotes from Chancellor Williams. All right, so the first quote is, "Nothing is clearer than the tragic fact that Africa, like the rest of the black world, has only the illusion of being free and independent. It is only about 1/3 free. It still is economically enshackled as it ever was, in some respects, more so." So, obviously this is, taken out of context, but this is one of those things that we have to understand as a people that, let's say it this way, right? You go into the Book of Power and you see it in Nyerere, right? And Nyerere, he discusses what's going on economically in Africa from the standpoint, not so much of as an observer, but as a political leader, right? And this is actually something critical to realize, that there's such a thing called vantage point. Okay, like, where are you standing in all of this, right? Where you're standing can help form your opinion on the subject. Say it this way: this is something that everybody understands about quote unquote history. This is something that even white people understand. Let me say it that way, right? Even white people understand that if there's a battle that's fought, right, the survivors of that battle, depending on what role they played, will see everything differently, right? So let's say if it's one of those fights, one of those classic, battles with, swords and shields and all that, right? From your vantage point, standing up, let's say you're the blue team fighting the red team, right? From your vantage point as the blue team fighting the red team, right? How the battle looks for you is, I ducked and dodged. I hit a shield from me. My friend, he took a arrow to his chest. I kept moving. I slashed somebody's head off. I backed up. I punched somebody. Then I saw a flag fly up, and the other team wanted to retreat. Or even my captain said, it's time to retreat. And so we ran back. And as I was running, somebody shot my dude in the back, and that's it, right? Or if you were on the red team, you see the same thing. Maybe if you was like in the back, you was just standing there and waiting for your turn or whatever, and then you see the blue banner fly up, and they're surrendering, and then you started charging and you shot an arrow. You don't even see nothing. You just shoot an arrow, and you might even hit somebody on your team in the back. It don't matter. That's your vantage point. Now, somebody on top of the hill, right? Somebody on top of the hill is going to see something totally different. He sees the two teams fighting. He might not see the small details of who ducked and dodged, who shot whom, or whatever, right? But he sees the blue banner fire, and he sees everybody retreating. And the only question is, when you write in the history, right? Like, the historian is going to interview the survivors that he can find, right? He's going to look at the battlefield, see who was dead, how they died, so on and so forth, if he's a good historian. And he's going to, interview the guy on the hill, the lady in the window, all that stuff, right? He's going to hear the stories of people passing down, and he or she, whatever, right? And they're going to put it all together, and that's like the vantage point that they have. Secondhand sources, right? Secondhand sources, third-hand sources, that kind of thing. The reason why I say all this is because a lot of time, like for instance, this brother Chancellor Williams, he's from America, and he's going to say, look, Africa's not economically free, and that means something. Okay, Africa has the illusion of being free and independent, right? And that means something depending on your vantage point, right? But don't let it mean something to you where you think that you can speak on Africa. Okay? Africa in general, sure. Sure. The general Africa, it's not free. But you have to see for yourself that truly there is opportunity for freedom in Africa. You know, and yes, the economy is not good, but the economy not being good, right? This is something you gotta understand. This is what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's like you have to engage our story completely, and when you engage our story completely, you begin to see things a little more clear. So the thing that you're not seeing, that you won't see, because you gotta listen to Maurice Bishop. All right, you listen to Maurice Bishop. I put down some quotes, some excerpts from Maurice Bishop. Maurice Bishop would tell you that after the American Revolution, right? And Maurice Bishop looking at history globally, global history. So he's like, after the American Revolution, right? There were no elections in America. A third of the population couldn't vote because they supported the British. So they took away the right to vote of 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 white American citizens. Okay, white Americans couldn't vote because they were sympathizers to the British. You understand? It's to say that in the early American history, early revolutionary American history, they prohibited the vote. They prohibited the ballot to even white landowners. Okay, what this tells you, right, is that the situation of an early revolution is tenuous. What you have in Africa, what happened in Africa is that they were immediately given. Sympathizers and so on and so were immediately given the right to vote, more or less. You understand? And when you understand this, you realize what the drawbacks, what the fallout was, and more so what the tenuous situation is. These are actual countries going through revolutionary changes, going through different changes, going through a change of government, and yes, there were traps and trappings set up, but you have to realize that because it's these are young countries, that the opportunity is ripe for your genius, and you know, to sit back and criticize, you don't understand what real revolution is. You understand? You don't understand what real revolution is because, like I said, even in early America, same thing. France after the French Revolution, same thing. You know, it wasn't. It was, oh well, Napoleon's gonna be dictator now. You understand? Because the situation is tenuous, and just like you say with the economy, you know, you can't say, well, you know, they're not free and independent. No, when early America was free and independent, the economy wasn't strong. You understand? The economy wasn't strong. They might have still owed money to England or whatever. They might have still been paying money to England. It don't matter. The point is that the economy wasn't strong. So to come at a country for its economy, right, is to not understand my view. And this is not talking about Chancellor Williams. This is talking about you. It's to not, like, when you talking like, well, Africa this, Africa that, you not understanding that to come at a country that comes to economic don't make no damn sense if you a living, breathing human being. What it means, if the economy is failing, you got to say to yourself, can I do anything in that economy? Because if you can, then get your black ass up and go. You understand? Because that's what the Chinese man said. He's saying, look, man, he's not saying the economy of Africa weak. He's saying, look, can my Chinese ass do anything in that economy? And if I can, I'm going to get my Chinese ass up and go. White man, same thing. Can I do anything in that economy? I can? Okay, I'm going to get my white ass up and go. And then you, man, can I do anything in that? No, that economy sucks. You understand? So a lot of this, I'm telling you, is what we call, this is the thinking that they impose on you. Because a lot of you going to say, well, I ain't know about that American Revolution thing. And the trouble is this, that, like I said, I give you the book. So that you could read the large amount of knowledge that's hidden from you. A large amount of knowledge that our ancestors knew piece by piece. I put it together for you to get a clearer picture of what your role is in this universe. Right? This universe. And you playing around. You understand? You playing around. Cause I mean, and I'm saying you playing around. I mean, I know a lot of y'all. Look, I got 3 book reviews so far. So I could say, you know, at least 3 people got the book. I mean, you know, more than that, but still. But I need you to go get this book and review it, because I'm talking about the Book of Power. I'm talking about the Book of Power. I need you to go get this book and review it, because you're not going to understand. You're not going to understand these other books until you get a firm grasp of the big picture. One time a sister asked me, one sister told me, I was in a group, I was organizing, and I usually had a question of the day, icebreaker, and we was hanging out with each other long enough, so I told them, I asked them each, I said, how about this? You guys say something nice about everybody here. One of the sisters said about me, she said, you tend to, you're able to look at the bigger picture. And that's what this book is about. The Book of Power is about the bigger picture. All right? The bigger picture is that Africa, it's like black folk don't have, it's not that black. Like I used to tell people on the streets, I used to organize, like I said, I used to invite people to my meetings, and in order to get them, I used to do, like I said, an icebreaker as usual, right? You talking to a stranger, you got to say something, clever or whatever. So I go up to them, I used to say, look, it's not that black folk don't have the resources, it's that we don't have the resourcefulness. You understand? Africa got the resources, but do you have the resourcefulness to make it so that Africa is the first, or even there's an African nation that's a first world empire? Okay, by first world I mean a first rate, top tier empire. You understand? Because again, everybody else came from poverty. Sorry, I don't know why my voice cracked like that, but everybody else came from poverty. Okay? Everybody else came from nothing. And the thing is this, that if you think that we have nothing, I mean, because who said it? Who said it? I can't remember who said it. I think it was Garvey. I'm not too sure. I gotta look back in. Oh no, John Edward Bruce said it. He said, look, the British, the white British, he came 1,000 years ago. He was nothing. And then, or it might have been J.A. Rogers, one of the two. But 1,000 years ago, they were nothing. I'm pretty sure it's J.A. Rogers. I'm pretty sure it's John Edward Bruce. But they were nothing 1,000 years ago, and now they something. And they still a small island, but now they something. You understand? And, when the Romans saw them, they were like, "Yo, look at these people, these fools. They ain't nothing." And now they something. What? And the thing is this: with you as an African, you was something before. You was something before. So cut this noise. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm gonna look at these things. So let's go to the next one though, because I don't want to waste too much of your time. Because I know you got. I don't know what you got doing, but shoot. All right. During periods of decline or conquest, Europe and Asia seized and transported from Africa as much of the artifacts of a civilization as they could. Canvases, for example, as early as the 6th century BC, hauled away over $100 million of precious historical materials from Thebes. Okay, so Thebes, what you have to understand is Thebes used to be the center of black power. Okay? The center of black power, they were able to take out $100 million of precious historical materials from Thebes 2,000 years ago. You understand? Oh, no, sorry, 1,500 years ago. Do you understand that transfusion of wealth? Because a lot of you want to focus on, I was a slave, or they enslaved us, 500 years ago. And look, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe I shouldn't have taken that tone, but that's fine. But the point of it is that 1,000 years before that, they took out $100 million from even one city. Even one city had $100 million. That's a transfusion of wealth. So you had a transfusion of people later and a transfusion of wealth. Now, what's important to understand is this, and I tell you, like I say, in the book, put out J.A. Rogers, The Law of Gain, I tell you about the law of gain. Basically J.A. Rogers put it out in his book, a little short sentence, and I said, look, let me put this inside of the Book of Power so that you understand that there is a way about doing things. But there's a way that we have done things, right? And the way how we have done it, the way how everybody does things. Okay, this is the general economics law. Law of economics, law of gain. It's in the glossary of the Book of Power. Okay? And they're telling you how to get gain, how to get profit by selling in the selling and by basically markets and how important markets are. So the thieves basically had a really good market. And the question is this: what about you? Where's your market? Where's your marketplace? How good is your marketplace? What does your marketplace produce, sell? Where's it distributing? These are the things that you have to understand, because if they could take $100 million out of Africa 1,500 years ago, right? what would they like? What could you do today? You understand? And that's what you have to come to terms with. I mean, you have to come to grasp that they were stealing from you for 1,500 years. You understand? And that's partly why they were able to get ahead. You understand? I mean, it's all broken down. I know. I mean, it's all broken down. It's all simple. It's all straightforward. You know. I almost want to write a history book, but I'm not gonna do that. I need you to read about how to get power and what to do with your life right now. Okay? Because real talk. It's like the question goes this: if you could free anybody, who would it be? And I want you to say, I want to free my black self. Because if you're not free, you ain't freeing anybody. You understand? You understand? If you're not free, you ain't freeing anybody. If you want a plantation, you're not going. Where you gonna take anybody? Where you gonna take anybody? You gonna take them to another plantation? You understand? All right, let's go to the next one. The failure is one people should serve as a warning for what to avoid, and not as a justification for similar features by another. So the failure is one people should serve as a warning of what to avoid, and not as a justification for similar features by another. So I mean, this one's straightforward. Don't repeat the mistakes. But this is the trouble. Like, as a people, generally speaking, that's all we do. We just repeat the mistakes of our ancestors, you know? And this is the shit. Like once upon a time, early when I was in the Pan African stuff, I was just like, you know what? I mean, like, let's go back to the traditional African culture and traditional blah blah blah. And it's like, look, if they colonized you when you were traditional, if they colonized you when you were this and that, when you were in the whatever, then going back to that don't make no damn sense. Again, like I said, 1,500 years ago, even when you had $100,000 in the bank, okay, or $100,000 in books, right, and knowledge, all they did was take it. So what you have to understand is what made you lose, and this is one of those critical questions that I tackle early in the book of Power. If you look at the speech I made for Taharka, because Taharka, if you know, Taharka is from Thebes. You see what I'm saying? So Taharka was ruling in Thebes. So what that tells you is that this brother had, or this ancestor had that insight onto what took away from us, what got away from us. And so I do something like analysis of his life and the world going on where he was. And again, like I said, the vantage point is different, because he might have been ruling in Thebes, and of course he had that kind of that world supremacy at that point in time. But now that we look from the future, we see, we could see back, we could look back and say, okay, so this is what was happening in Assyria. You understand? This is what was happening in Assyria, and this was happening inside of what was this place called? Babylon. This was happening in Babylon. And there was a lot of things going on around the world, or a lot of complexes, a lot of mishap that might not have necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I believe that Taharka might have had insight into it, but all the same, I give you that. I give you that so that we understand where to go next. And I mean, it actually comes back to the tagline from our website. I have the African Blood Siblings website, so it actually goes back to that tagline, which is an African war without an African army is an African genocide. But I'll talk about that later. So let's see. The next one is the record of 5,000 years that ended with the European conquest of the whole continent in the 19th century shows that every African state remained relatively secure and independent as long as it maintained a strict policy of excluding foreigners from settlement within its borders. Now this is actually a really important analysis. This is something really important that I might actually have to retweet again. But the idea here, and this is something I want to tell y'all something. This is actually a little short story I want y'all to tell y'all. But there was this movie, and so I decided to watch this movie. I heard about it's like a trilogy. It's a Chinese movie. I heard about it from a long time ago. I never watched it because I'm not really into that Chinese stuff, right? I feel like movies might be, I'm not really into movies that much, not like that. I'm not a cinephile, you understand? But anyway, I decided to watch it this time because one of these brothers here in America is in it, your boy Mike Tyson, right? All right, so Mike Tyson's in it, and he's an interesting guy. So He's in this Chinese movie for some reason because he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy. He's in this Chinese movie, and there's two people who are not Chinese in the movie. Okay, there's uh there's Mike Tyson, and then there's this white boy who's like supposed to be British or something, right? He's British, you know, chop chop pip pip cheerio, right? Uh, the in the Chinese movie, they're like, you know, Hong Kong. The Chinese are talking amongst each other, and they're like, yo, Hong Kong is ruled by foreigners, and you know foreigners are corrupt, and foreigners are this, and what he's talking, and they're just openly saying, we got, these foreigners are messing up our country, and we don't like these foreigners, and they doing this, and they bringing corruption, and blah 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 blah, and the whole movie got only two non-Chinese people, Mike Tyson, a quote unquote black American, and a white British man, right? And they just blaming everything on these foreigners, and they just openly saying foreigners are ruining our country. You understand? And that's the bold braveness that they have in their movies. You know what I'm saying? The movie has the movie is employing let's say, I want to say maybe 300 Chinese people, okay? Because they got big fight scenes, and they got a big staff, big staff of directors, not directors, camera people and choreographers and so on and so forth. So they got 300 people on set, paying 300 people, and even though they got 300 to whatever, how many people, the two people who are not Chinese, right? They blaming everything on. And it's like, this is something that you have to understand too. That this is partly why, because when they have their own film industry, they have their own education, they have their own thing. This is how these Chinese people can do what they do. They're telling you, look, man, these foreigners ain't no good, and this is just a martial arts movie. These foreigners ain't no good, and they could say that and repeat that and go around and do that, and while they're doing that, what's going on in your movies? Well, Jesus and well, I mean, if Jesus has a way for you, and assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you, and all that nonsense, right? And this is why, and then you don't have your own schools, you don't have your own, your films is, here's the heroic white guy, here's the white guy who's gonna save the day, and nobody's saying, well, we gotta blame white folk for this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or we gotta blame foreigners for this stuff, and then you wonder why other people have a more clear mindset than you. Actually on Sunday African Worship, this brother was telling us, and that's what I'm saying. You gotta come join Sunday African Worship. Stop playing. Join the Discord. The links below. Press the Discord. Join the Discord, and you're gonna see. Because there's a lot of people coming through Sunday African Worship, and they're giving some knowledge that you want to hear, right? And of course, I'm there too. You understand? Always dropping good stuff. But one time this brother was telling us that he's in one of them universities in America, and he was saying that and he's an elder brother, but he's saying that he went to these Chinese people one time. They were feeling, they had a rapport with him, and Chinese and Indian people, and he asked them, why are you working so hard? Why are you always studying in the library? Because our people wasn't necessarily popular in the library like that. He's like, why are you always studying in the library? And they looked at him and they said, look, sir, it's because we know we at war. You understand? And I'm telling you, and I mean, when I heard that, I might not have been like, okay, that makes, I don't know why they even telling them this, but you got to realize that if I'm just watching a Chinese martial arts movie, and they telling you, yeah, man, these foreigners, they messing up Hong Kong. You understand? Chinese martial arts movie. These foreigners are messing up Hong Kong. Come on. Not even keep going on that. Look, this next one. That same record makes it clear that wherever this policy was abandoned and whites were admitted under any pretext whatsoever, the eventual doom of that state was certain. And I mean, this is complicated. I mean, like I said, me personally, although I was just telling you that you wanna blame foreigners, a lot of it is foreigners. That's for true, right? A lot of it is foreigners, but you also have to understand that you have to start taking up the role of leadership. Okay, you have to start taking the role of leadership. There's a passive way to go about things. Because I tell you, a lot of people out here, they want to say everything. Oh man, blah blah blah, these blah blah blah. That's one thing. Do that. Understand that, yes, foreigners ain't no good. But understand that you also got to be a good person. Because look, if the foreigners are not in Hong Kong, that don't necessarily mean that Hong Kong's going to be, pretty and not. Whatever. That don't mean culture is necessarily going to go away in Hong Kong. You understand? Just like, anywhere in this world. Like, the thing that Africa had when it had black supremacy was it had world-class leaders. You understand? It had world-class leaders. And not for nothing, I don't want to sound like, because Garvey gives some credit to the white leadership sometimes. I'm not really gonna go that far and give credit to white leaders, but the point being that you got to face facts as well as fancies. You understand? If you got leaders who ain't interested in you, you understand? If you got sellouts for leaders, a Scotty for leader, things are gonna fall apart regardless. Matter of fact, our ancestors got a proverb that goes, "Organization is impossible unless those who know the laws of harmony lay the foundation." And that's of course from the second book, the pro-black compendium. But the point being that don't forget that you have a role. That's what I want you to understand. Don't forget that you have a role. Being a man, being a woman means that you have a role. You have something to do. All right? Okay, so the main characteristics of the history of the blacks are reflected in those states. Building an advanced system of life, then having it destroyed. Building again, destruction again. Migrating and building somewhere else, only sought to be destroyed again. Right? Now, again, this is this right here is interesting. This right here is an interesting take on history. Now this is why I can't really mess with this take on history, because the thing is this, that everybody's going through building and destroying. The difference is that when we have ancient African civilizations, we actually lasted a really long time. You understand? Like right now, I don't know if y'all know this, but like America, if you go by Constitution, the United States is like one of the oldest countries in the world right now. You understand? If you go by Constitution, right? Because everywhere is populated, but if you go by like the government, this is one of the oldest governments in the world right now. Oh, China's the other one, right? China's like probably the oldest, right? Well, accordingly, so on and so forth, quote unquote. Now, if you're talking about big nations, obviously we got princes and kings in Africa to this day who go way back, but the point I'm trying to articulate is that everybody's getting destroyed, really. You understand? Like it depends on how you look at it. Like if you look at the French Revolution, the follow-up to the French Revolution as a destruction of the old France, then yeah, France was destroyed already. You get what I'm saying? So that's, or even like you look at Germany as not being the Prussian Empire. You understand? Now you might be like, well, Germany is just the Prussian Empire. In that case, then no, everybody lasted forever, right? But the thing is that with Kemet, it was like lasted for thousands of years. You understand? That's the difference. So it's like, yeah, people get destroyed because the world, like there's a geopolitical world out there, but you have to stay ahead of the game, and that's what I'm teaching you. That's what I'm writing about. That's what you could read about. Just how to stay ahead of the game, because that's something that we don't really grasp right now, right? Anyway, so it says this is not accidental or without design. Caucasian fears about the possibility of blacks developing a sense of oneness and unity of action is deep and centuries old. Many subtle schemes are used to maintain divisiveness, and with success. So he's just saying that Caucasians, are against us. And the thing is this, that they're supposed to be. You understand? Like Caucasians, like this is what I want you to understand, that like white people are supposed to be against you. You understand? You're supposed to be against white people. Period. You understand? There's nothing more to it. That you're supposed to be oppositional. The trouble is that it's like somebody pointed out that there's a Frenchman who said the thing with Africans that they don't know that they've been at war since 1492. You understand? But it's been before that. You've always been at war with these people. You understand? And if you don't know that, that's good for you. If they don't know that, that might be a little better for you. But when they do know that and you don't know that, that's when you're in trouble. And look, I'm gonna tell you straight up, you're in trouble. All right? So lineage then was the most powerful and effective force for unity and stability in early Africa. So this one right here is self-explanatory. Lineage is very important. But here's the thing too, like don't be fooled by what lineage means. Lineage is not lineage is, let's say it's ephemeral. Let's say that. Or lineage is like if there's somebody from a different group, right? and I caught them. And you can always court somebody if you got economy. Let's be for real. And I caught them. Then I'm part of that lineage now. You understand? Easy. You understand? Or even like you could go somewhere, you could move somewhere and make a whole new lineage. And that's something that we've always done, because if you go back to what Chancellor Williams said earlier, right? He said, migrated and building somewhere else, only sought to be destroyed again. So what that means is that you can, don't sweat like just go be a part of a lineage on the continent if you don't already have it. And if you wanna mix up your lineage, go ahead and mix up your lineage. That's good. That's like nobody like it's all right. The point being that the main objective right now is to free yourself. You understand? It's to free yourself. It's to gain power. For you. That's the main objective. And if you're not doing that, then sorry. But that's it. That's it. You're just gonna die, pretty much enslaved. Like, and there's nothing I could do about that. You understand? I could, it's like you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I could give you the book, but I can't make you read. I can't free you. You understand? I can't free you in the sense of that you got to free yourself first. And this is common knowledge. This is something that, in fact, that's actually in one of the second essay in the in the Book of Power is that some our ancestor, my ancestor particularly, but our ancestor generally, Nani, who says, look, I couldn't even free my sister. You understand? Like I was free from jump, but I couldn't free my sister. You understand? She's still on the plantation. Because you can't free people. You understand? You gotta free yourself, period. Like, don't worry about freeing other people. You gotta free yourself, period. And then you can organize, liberation movements. But the reality is that if somebody wanna be like, I don't wanna say wanna be, but if somebody doesn't wanna take the steps forward, then that's it. That's on them. You can't like just don't shed a tear. Real talk. So, all right, let's say the next one is, in ancient times and even later, there were Caucasians who regarded the blacks as superior people. And yeah, of course, look, black people are superior people, period. Everybody knows this. White people know this. Everybody knows this. Okay? Like you smarter, you faster. Like you watch the Olympics, you see we better, period. Okay? But who cares? Like who cares? If you ain't, it's not about who's better. It's not about who's better. It's about who's better organized. It's about who has a stronger nation. That's what it's about. At the end of the day, it's about who has a stronger nation. If you got crap nations and they don't, then sorry, bruh. You understand? Sorry, bruh. So your objective in life, real talk, is nation building up that nation. Period. And if you ain't about that, if you about making noise, that's good. That's fine. Just make the noise. But look, I'm not like. I'm telling you right now, if you see people that just making noise, just leave that. Let them tweet. But free yourself. Anyway, let's see. This tremendous victory of the white man was not achieved by conquest. It was achieved by default on the part of a race too preoccupied with the immediate present and less with its future. A race whose centuries of blind trust in the white man surpassed all understanding. So look. This tremendous victory of the white man, again, was not achieved by conquest, right? It was achieved by default on the part of the race too preoccupied with the immediate. So, look, this is something that you have to understand. This is really saying, look here. This is something that he could have said in one word, which is real talk. You ain't got no schools, okay? If you're going to like somebody calls here in America, we got this thing called the public school system. What it's better known as the public fool system, okay? This is something that while we were talking about on African worship, Sunday African worship. So again, like I said, come through, right? But this is something that we have to understand, all right? Schools are the reset button, okay? Our people are only as advanced as their education. Our people, generally speaking, are only advanced as their education, and everything goes back to like one of the sisters was telling us that how she went through initiation and all that, right? She went through initiation. Her mama went through initiation. Her grandmama went through initiation. Her great-great-grandma, all of them went through the same initiation, more or less. Okay, so that means that the same thoughts that she has, are the same thoughts they had. Just different context, but the same. Oh, well, how can I use this? This things that everybody keeps going back to the way they was. Now, if you are a black person going under Western education, right, you getting the same thoughts that your father, your father's father, your father's father's father, or your mother, your mother's mother, your mother, all of them had the same sort of Western education mindset that made it a struggle, made it a difficulty to find out who you are, and you keep going back to the same start because you ain't educating yourself. You understand? You ain't educating yourself. So of course everybody's gonna be like, man, this white man, he's I trust him. Like, why wouldn't you trust if you went to the public education, if you public school system, why wouldn't you trust the white boy? They were there for you for first 11 years, like first 18 years of your life. You understand? First 18 years of your life, they're teaching you math, teaching you reading, they're giving you a selection of books, they're exposing you to literature, to world history, they're teaching you, all that, and you expect to not trust them after 18 years of that. Well, that makes sense. You're doing it to yourself. You understand? You're doing it to yourself because and this is every day. And then suddenly when you 20, you like, oh man, I know so many things that was on. I didn't know, right? Meanwhile, you got 3-year-olds. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. You understand? So even if you learn something, if you're the one that slipped through the cracks, it don't matter because again, like something you gotta understand is every day, 3,000 black people are born around the world. Every day, 3,000 black people are born. And let's say, I don't know the number for America, but let's say 400 black people are born in America, right? Every day, 400 black people are born in America, right? Or whatever, right? Every day. And each one of them, about 99% of them are going to Western education, white education, for 18 years, for 20 years. They're going to be indoctrinated by white folk, okay? And then, yeah, some going to fall through the cracks, but it don't matter because by the time you get to an age where you like, you know what, I learned something. You already got a handful of dummies coming behind you. You understand? And sure, some of them might fall through the cracks. Sure, I fell through the cracks. Sure, kinda, barely, right? But the point being that that's not enough. That's not enough. And if you don't understand that's not enough, you don't understand this is a systematic system. If you don't understand that, then sorry. But you screwing with your own future. Your thing is this: get out. All right. To the somewhat twisted Western mind, nakedness in public is indicative of the savage, right? Now I don't even have to go into this because it's not even. I feel like that's like whatever. Who cares, right? But yeah, nakedness is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but I mean, this is the thing too. Look, let me tell you this though. Somewhat twisted mind. Actually, I want to go into this actually a little bit. Real talk. You gotta understand with these white folks that a lot of them is pedophiles. A lot of them about incest. And the thing is this too. They making black folk about pedophilia and incest. And look, a lot of you listen. Look at how you don't understand. A lot of you want to be like, no, that's not true. Look, that's true. All right, especially if you go down south. A lot of these black folk sleeping with their cousins, getting their cousins pregnant, brothers, sisters, mothers. One woman I heard about, her she, I don't even want to talk about it, but look, her grandfather was, you know what I'm saying. This is why you ought to understand, and this is like ongoing. This is ongoing for years. Matter of fact, I actually knew this one girl, her dad for years. You understand what I'm saying to you? And I'm not talking about they just touching around. No, I'm saying that it's gruesome and gross. But this is something that you will expect in the West. And again, like I said, you got to get out. This is not you subjecting your children to danger. Real talk. You subjecting your children to danger. You understand? You don't even understand. If you're not listening to me, you're subjecting your children to danger. But all right, let's go on here. Bad behavior by one member was a reflection of the rest of the family. The Western creed of the fierce individual has no place in society. What one did was either a credit to his family or a dishonor. So this is straight up. This happens. Look, and the thing is this. If you go, like I said, I went to university with the white boys university. They tell me about this guy, the sociologist, one of the earlier sociologists, Durkheim. And he's talking about anonymity and how anonymity makes it so that urban cities have more crime because people don't know anybody, right? And even white folks were saying, you know what? After the police got more power, more strength, what happens is that the function of the family deteriorates as now you have outside bodies, governmental entities solving crimes and so on and so forth. All this to say that look, America's an advanced country for what it is, advanced in the ways of white people, country for what it is. So your whole strategy, and this is something that a lot of black folk have, strategy of I'm gonna change America. That don't even make no damn sense. Really. It don't make no sense if you go on if they go indoctrinate you for 400 years, right? And then you barely have anybody who fall through the cracks, and they highly organized, even against their own selves. That you gonna suddenly do something big and major. It don't make no sense. And I mean, like I said, at Sunday African Worship, I put out some evidence, but it don't make no sense. So for me, like you doing this, like you talking all this, like this whole family talk, yeah, that thing work in Africa. It's gonna work in Africa. If you're not advancing Western ways, it's gonna work for you, because you don't have the police in everybody's business. You could knock on somebody's door and say, "Wait, you touched my daughter?" You understand? Or you could tell your or a man could come up to somebody and say, "Look, you touched my niece," and it's like, "Yeah, I'm the father," and then bloop, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I shouldn't have done that. that's my sound effect, right? But anyway, but you understand what I'm saying to you? It's like there's a different legal system that you can create. You understand? These are nascent nations, young nations. I mean, they're not too young right now, but the point, and they were younger when Chancellor Williams was talking. But the point being that, this is what you can do. Like you trying to accomplish this stuff in America, you're not making much sense. You trying to, I mean, you could accomplish it, sure, and you got to pick your territory. Like I said, I go to Jamaica. When I went to Jamaica, I went to Clarendon, right? Beautiful, all black folk. You know what I'm saying? Like handful of like maybe like 2 Indian, right? No white folk, right? Beautiful, right? It had that poverty, had that economic, and so forth, but you could go there and do something. Now, Kingston is different. Kingston might be a little more international. Kingston might have, you know what I'm saying? So you probably can't do as much in Kingston as you could do in Clarendon, right? If you really about revolution or really about transforming the world. So it's like, this is the same with Africa. There's some parts that you can't go, some places you probably don't want to go. All right? If you really about challenging the system at play. But the point being that, this is America, it don't make no damn sense. Especially if you understand, like I said, I shared it for the other people, this Wilmington story, right? In Wilmington, I mean, look, like I said, come through on Sunday African Worship. Don't have me, repeating myself too much. Come on. All right. Historians have highlighted the role of African chiefs and kings in the slave trade. Little is said about the general African opposition to the trade or about the kings and chiefs who led the fight against it. So this is important. This is important, but it's not really too important, right? Not too important. I say like this. Yes, white people are not going to highlight your heroes. They're not going to highlight the challenges because that's stupid for them to highlight the challenges. Why would they highlight the people who challenged them? That's stupid. That is stupid. That is stupid. Okay, if I want you to be brave, and I tell you, you know what, these white people, they gotta, if I want you to cross a field, and I tell you, look, man, the field is filled with landmines, right? And I really, really want you to cross that field, right? But I don't have the technology. Now, if I had the technology to defuse the landmines, that's one thing. If I don't have the technology to defuse the landmines, why would I tell you there's a bunch of landmines there that you can blow up your feet by going out there? Now, if I tell you, hey, look, you know what? If you cross this path, you ain't no explosion, right? Well, this is a well-traveled path, ain't no explosion. And I mean, I could be real, I could not be real. It don't matter, right? Because once somebody detonates it, then that path is clear, don't it? But all right, well, or I could send a dog in front of us. It don't matter. But my point being, I mean, some of you like dogs. Don't worry about it. Look, I like humans more than dogs. All right. I mean, I don't even like dogs, really. Period. I mean, that's some Western stuff. I mean, not Western, but I mean, I'm not even gonna go into that. But look, my point being this. Yeah. The point is that nobody's gonna tell you. White people not gonna tell you. Oh yeah, they're not gonna tell you about Robert Williams. They're like, yeah, Robert Williams challenged us. He made us put down our weapons and blah blah. He's not gonna tell you that, stupid. Hey, not to disrespect, but I'm just saying, like, come on, like, it don't make no sense. So yeah, historians aren't gonna tell you about the African opposition. They're gonna tell you sold each other, and now you have black folk in America talking about, oh, you sold me, or black folk in general, the diaspora saying, oh, you sold me. They're supposed to say that. That's how they keep you dumb. They want you dumb. They don't want you smart. Why would anybody want you smart? Why would they want you smart and against them? That's stupid. They're not controlling you to help you out in this world. You understand? And the thing is that, yes, if black folk controlling you, they want to help you out. That's true. Right? They want to help you out. That's true. But they not black folk. So why are you holding them to that standard? That don't make no sense. But let's go on. We shall remain a weak people until we begin the drive for integration of blacks first of all, instead of battling to integrate with other people. This is good, but this is not. Look, real talk. Look, like I said, there's some black people that's Ascati. Ascati, look it up. That was in my that was in Pro Black Compendium. That's in the Book of Power. Don't like you gotta realize that sometimes the Ascati are not worth it. The Ascati are the people who sell you out. Okay, a lot of black folk that mockingly pose as quote unquote revolutionaries or revolutionary thinkers. A lot of them is Ascati. Period. You understand? A lot of the black people in America or diaspora or even Africa, they are Scotty. Period. You understand? Like before we were talking about Chancellor Williams said, oh, there's some chiefs who did sell us. Right? That's a Scotty. You understand? So it's like no, you ain't gonna try to, and that's what drive like you're supposed to be fighting a Scotty. Okay, they supposed to be right there next to the white boy. You understand? Now you're supposed to fight the white boy foremost, obviously, but a Scotty too. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. All right. Now let me see what else I could say. All right, here. No matter how scattered over the world, the treatment suffered by one black group is suffered by all. And again, like I said, that's not true. Look, everything is local. Every problem you have is local. Go back to the Maroons. You know, Abbie Raynard, I think his name is Abbie Raynard. He wrote something that even Toussaint Louverture read. Okay, he said, "Look, there's two free black populations in this world, and they signify the beginning of the end of slavery." Okay, so what he's saying though is this: that like no, the suffering of one group is not the suffering of all. Stop, get that nonsense out of your head. I'm gonna have to go like that's not true. If one group is suffering, that's one group. Like for instance, when Boko Haram was stealing kids in Nigeria, nobody else in the black world was affected. You understand? Well, if the police pick up in the door in America and shoot a black person in a house, nobody else in the African world is affected. You ain't affected in the middle of Nigeria. You ain't affected. Like I said, I went to Jamaica and I was talking to my grandmother and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's so sad." She don't got to worry about no NYPD kicking open her door because the NYPD ain't even in Jamaica. Now she did share me some story about how some soldiers and how some police officers were a little corrupt back there, but they afraid of the soldiers. You understand that the soldiers would be like, "No, police, you can't do that shit." Okay, I'm trying to tell you, everything is local. Every problem you have is local, so that just means move. There's no, oh well, we're suffering the waters are suffering. That's not true. Period. But let's go to the next one. Until Afro-Americans are quite clear in their own minds about their real situation in this country, all y'all about unity and achieving equal justice will be just that, useless talk. And this is the trouble right here. Afro-Americans ain't got no, look, I put it as a tweet, matter of fact. I'm gonna just read you the tweet. Because this is something that you don't understand. Period. This is something that you don't understand. And I mean, if you want to fight me over it, you can fight me. I mean, I got the gloves. But he says the only thing that's humiliating is helplessness. And I say, look, the situation in America is helpless. All black political discourse in America is political entertainment. It's not for analysis as much as for black people to alleviate the humiliation of 400 years of oppression and 400 more coming. You understand? The point is this: that African, like there's no hope for if you quote unquote African, if you a black person in a white nation, you ain't got no hope. Period. You ain't got no hope. Period. Get out. Just leave. You got no hope. I told you. I warned you. If you want to stay there 400 more years, do that. But don't let nobody tell you that you wasn't told that you ain't got no hope in no white nation. Period. All right. Petty power struggles, bickering and attacking each other are all signs of a death wish as a race. And this is something that you got to realize. This is all you're gonna have when you ain't got no, when you hopeless. Right now, matter of fact, there's the two. I'm not even gonna go into them. Look at that. Look, I'm not even gonna go into these little cliques and the point is this, that don't even be about, just move, just get out, just go. We need to get together. Like I'm saying, you can come with me. You can come to me. Like I said, come on to Sunday African Worship. Let's strategize. Let's get ourselves our own little community and just live free. Because that's what we can do. That's what we've been doing. Like I said, I'm Maroon background. Marcus Garvey, his father, Maroon background. Maroons, we know what to do. Okay, we know what to do. So I'm telling you right now, come free yourself with me. Period. It's an invitation. All I'm saying is, look, just read the books. come on the worship. You understand? Everybody got worship. Everybody worships. Okay? Everybody worships. Come to the worship, right? And that's WARSHIP. Come to the worship and just come. Let's get free. Period. Let's get free. Then we can worry about everybody else. But let's get free. That's it. And let's go to the last one. They say when they cry racism is reverse discrimination and reverse segregation, they are saying in effect that only we whites may discriminate or segregate, but not you blacks. And like at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, that's what having power is about. That's what having power is about. Period. If you don't understand that, then that's on you. They're not supposed to be fair. Why would you be fair if you got the power? That don't make no sense. You know, like for instance, if somebody brings, if I go to a restaurant and they bring me food, am I supposed to give food to the waiter? Am I supposed to give food to the waiter? Be like, hey, you know what? Let's be fair. You know, I mean, I bought the food, but let's be fair. I'm gonna give you some of the food. Well, that makes sense. I bought the food. That's the power that I put the resources in. You understand? So why am I giving you food? Would that even make any sense to you? You understand? White nations mean that white folk, it's set up for white folk. It ain't set up for you. Why would anybody run a government? Why would they work 24/7 on your behalf? Where does that make sense to you? Like I said, you gotta go read the books, read the literature, and you're gonna get some clarity that you're not getting elsewhere. And I mean, you can quote me on that, okay? But thank you for listening so much. This has been the pro-black perspective on KWAZ Radio. I'm the author of the Book of Power, and I'm also the host of Sunday African Worship. So come through the Discord, click the links below. Definitely get this book, read it. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna love it, and I hope to hear from you soon. And drop some comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I mean, I might, you know, we might have to intellectually spar, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like, I want you to be free. That's my objective. All right, Shemi Emotep, Nitaya too.